Hello, everyone. How you doing? I certainly want to extend my condolences to Dom, his family, and everything that they're going through. Certainly, as a program, obviously, very challenging moment in time, and experience for the staff and the players, but even more so for his family. Unfortunately, I've dealt with something like that in the past in a different program, where we lost a young man, and it's something that sticks with me forever. Um, Condolences to them, and prayers for the family for sure. But I'm open to questions.
Leo, you want to start us?
How's it going, Coach? Leo Rivera with BuffStampede.com. It's good to meet you.
Yeah.
Just from your coaching philosophy perspective, I guess, in your mind, what are the successful traits of a winning defense?
I love it. First of all, it's mindset, right? How you approach the game, playing together as a unit. Certainly, you need to be situationally very efficient to exceptional. So when I say situationally, talking third down, talking red zone, talking understanding personnels and how offenses are attacking you. So being really smart, playing extremely fast and aggressive, playing with tremendous effort, but also playing as a unit. Right? You've never seen a championship defense with 10 people, right? It takes all 11, and sometimes more than that. So that's what it takes in order for us to be successful. You can fix a lot of problems on defense with effort, with mindset, and the style of play, as opposed to the structural things that you're doing. And so that's what spring ball for us in a lot of ways is about, man, like establishing an identity. Who are we going to be? How are we going to play? And when teams cut on the tape, they see the style of play that we have, regardless of what we're covering. So that's what we believe in. That's what we're teaching to our guys, and certainly trying to get exemplified on the tape. Great question. Thank you.
Hey, Coach Brian Alabole, looking at the camera. You're obviously hired as linebackers coach a little while ago, and all of a sudden you're the defense coordinator.
Yeah.
Things changed a little bit. So,
Yeah.
what changed for you last week with Livingston leaving and you being elevated to coordinator?
Man, things happen fast in this profession, right? And so certainly talked with Coach Prime about coming in, and if this opportunity presented itself, a conversation would be had. But came in with the full intention of coaching linebackers, doing absolutely everything that I could in that role to help and supplement Coach Livingston and everything that he wanted to do here. Obviously, when he got the tremendous opportunity that he had and he decided to leave, we had the conversation with Coach Prime, and I was promoted. And so as you can imagine, man, 5 days before spring ball rolls, you have a plan of action that and the direction and the vision that you plan on going defensively, and all of a sudden it changes, right? And so you have to, I had to put that defensive coordinator hat back on, and okay, what is the plan? What's the vision? What's the lexicon that we want to utilize? What do we want to do schematically? How do we want to approach our conversations with the players? How do we organize ourselves as a staff? How do we be extremely meticulous as it relates to the things that are important? How do we play winning football? I mean, it goes back to your question. How do we teach the things that are necessary, and not just teach them, but in a way that they resonate and that they're applicable and that they show up on tape, right? Because you can teach football till you're blue in the face. If it doesn't show up on the tape, it doesn't matter. So that's what it's been about. And so I've drank a lot of coffee, Starbucks, and then the person who opens the door, me and they're my best friends right now. And it'll probably continue to be that way for a while, and that's okay.
Kind of building off that, how similar is your philosophy as Coach Livingston's was here? Was it just some tweaks you needed to make, or is it kind of a massive overhaul in terms of philosophy?
Yeah, so it'll be some overlap for sure. Certainly there'll also be some things that I'll bring with me from my past that I thought were extremely effective, but also helped us play fast and helped us play with a certain mentality that showed up to take again for the guys to be successful and feel like they're playing together and that they can play aggressively, right? And so it'll be some overlap, but also some unique nuances and distinctions between what was on tape and heard.
Right.
I mean, you've only been DC for about a week, but you've been here for longer.
Sure.
What players so far have stood out to you the most?
Man, that is a question that I always hesitate to answer, especially this early, because football is played in pads and we don't have pads on yet. So I do appreciate the young men that we have. There's clearly a tremendous amount of work ethic. They're hungry, right? They're very coachable. They appreciate the opportunity that Colorado provides for all of us, and they're taking the coaching right now. You can see there's a very big distinction in my mind in the years that I've coached ball between January to February, and with the first day of pads, you put them on the spring ball. There's a very big distinction. The football players come out. They really do. And so I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for Friday. If we could have stayed on the field and lined up for Friday, I would have done that today. So excited for that.
Coach Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. What did you learn from your first coordinator job at Virginia Tech, and kind of what have you kind of taken since then before coming here to see you that you feel like you're a better coach than where you were 2 years ago?
Yeah, tremendous. That's a tremendous question. I had a year to think about that, a year to think about it. So I have probably 15 pages in OneNote that I could articulate to you. But the pithy version of it would be I learned how to be a better teacher. Right. I did a lot of stuff in the off season. I did internships in the NFL with the Rams and the Cardinals. I visited a bunch of different programs because you have access now when you don't have a logo on your chest. And so I got to see a lot of different things that challenged some things that I thought, but also really reinforced some things that I fundamentally believed in and still believe in. And so if you're not adapting in this game, then you're going to die. So I learned that adapting is imperative. You do have to have tenets that you fundamentally believe in and that you harp on and that have to show up on tape, but you got to adapt, man. So we'll be different than team saw us, than how people saw us at when I was at the other institution. We'll have some overlap, but it's about adapting, man, and get better every opportunity you get. Good question.
I want to talk to you, Coach, about your energy.
Yeah.
It is high level when you get up on the field.
Sure.
And even in the meeting rooms, when you put the film up and there's a good play, you encourage everyone on the team to clap for that play and that person. Talk about those philosophies, bringing that energy and making sure the teammates buy in and reward each other.
Yeah, great question. I believe there's one way to tell the truth. You tell it. One way to tell the truth, you tell it. And I also believe, and I know this as a father, I know this as a teammate, and I know this as a teacher and coach. I've been doing this for a while. That positive reinforcement gets you the behavior that you want replicated faster than negative reinforcement. So how can you positively reinforce in a real way to get the type of human behavior that you want to be replicated? And so it has to be authentic, right? It can't be anything that's fake or contrived. We're humans, so they're players, but they're adults. They're over the age of 18, so they can feel when it's not real. So you got to find ways to reinforce what you're trying to get replicated, and things that aren't up to the standard, you got to find ways to get those modified so that the standard can be met.
Hey, Coach Scott Proctor at the NBR. You played the linebacker position at a high level back in the day. You've coached it for a while. What are you looking for guys out of that room? Like, what kind of makes that position go the way you want it to?
Yeah, so great question, man. Productivity, instincts, physicality, violence, speed, intelligence. And obviously, if you're able to do those things in the game of football, whether you're a very vocal guy or a guy who's a rah-rah guy, who's loud and you can hear from 2 rooms away, if you produce on the field, everybody will recognize who you are. And you'll have natural leadership because of your productivity and the way that you work. And so I used to be a guy who, hey, I need someone who what a lot of people call as an alpha dog. He's somebody who speaks well, who gets in front of the group, who holds his fist up in the middle of the circle, kind of get everybody going. I had an unanimous All-American who was a finalist for the Buckets Award and was the highest paid linebacker at one point in the NFL, and you couldn't get him to say boo. But he put that helmet on, and he was a boy dog. And so that taught me that there are all types of personalities that fit a football program, but there needs to be one standard, right? And so the standards are kind of the things that I talked to you about earlier as it relates to linebacker.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Coach, some young bucks on SI. You were obviously at BC before, and now had to shift your role and change, like you mentioned. But with also the weekend's tragedy, has it shifted how you motivated and led your guys at all through this first week of practice?
Yeah, so there's a response to the situation and the context in which that we're in. There's the human response, certainly. I think as coaches and as players, we're humans first, right? Football players second. So if we're completely void of considering the context of what everybody's experiencing right now, I think that would be foolish and unwise. And so certainly we are very intentional about the conversations that we're having, both within the context of teaching football, but also the conversations outside of the classroom and off the field. And I think that's just good coaching, right? If that was the situation, not obviously condolences as we've talked about, but there needs to be a depth of relationship outside of the classroom that allows for the coaches and players to exceed whatever their expectations are, not just meet them, but to exceed them, right? So, and I just think that's good coaching.
Hey guys, Jack Barlow, Buff Insider. Nice to meet you. Obviously, we weren't here last year, but it's possible with how many new transfer additions there are, you could have, complete new 11 guys on defense. Just what excites you most about that opportunity?
Yeah, I think what excites me the most is that everything is new. So for me and most of the defense, when we play our first game in the stadium, it'll be all of our first games there. And so I think that'll be a unique and cool experience together. We get to all do this thing one time, right? This year with this team in this moment, and that's special, man. So I'm excited about it. Like I said earlier, I think we have really good kids who have the right mindset and approach and heart, and we just got a lot of work to do.
Right. Coach, normally when you come in to a new role, the guy that was here before is not here, but Coach Hart is here. So how have you worked with Coach Hart, and like, just how's that dynamic going?
Yeah, first of all, Coach Hart is a phenomenal human being. Phenomenal human being. Good football coach. And all he's done has been accept me with open arms, be as helpful as he possibly could have been. And let's be honest about it, that takes a tremendous amount of humility to do what he's done. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a man. And so what we've done is working tandem as it relates to coaching and our responsibilities for the defense. And I'm excited to be here with him.
To Marve.
Hey, Coach, Jake Schwartz from DMV. Just wanted to ask you about Blue Carter and his versatility, and how does that, that versatility out of the nickel spot kind of unlock things in defense?
Yeah, so we brought him here because of his ability and his potential and his production in the past, but we don't have pads on yet. So give us a few days in pads, I'll be able to give you a better answer to that.
Just a few things about the interview process. When you met with Coach Prime at first, it sounds like he gave you some sort of indication that it might be possible that Coach Livingston might be moving on, and if that happened, he would be talking to you about that. Is that
Sure,
correct?
sure.
And then the other part of that is when you were going through that, what was it that he was looking for in you?
Yeah, so I don't want to speak for Coach Prime, what he was looking for. I think he can speak to that better than I can.
Yeah.
But certainly there was a conversation around, we think really highly of Coach Livingston. There's probably going to be opportunities for him, whether it's this year or next year. And, to make sure that you excel in your role, do everything that you can for the program. And when the opportunity presents himself, we'll have a conversation. And Coach Prime is truly his word.
Stepping in as a coordinator without really a big hand in picking your staff, what's the difference between doing that and having a hand in picking it?
You know what? That's a great question, man. That was actually my experience in the previous role. I didn't get to pick my staff. And it's okay because I love leading. I love leading. I love collaboration. I love figuring people out so that I can find the best equation that maximizes the potential of everybody on our staff and also do the same with our players. So I don't run from that challenge. I don't think handpicking people that you need to work with. Sometimes I think that actually handicaps you as a leader because it doesn't make you think outside of the box. So I like the challenge. I like the opportunity. And Coach Prime and the rest of the administrative staff has done a tremendous job of the humans and men that are in that room. So, man, it's a good challenge, and I'm embracing it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Over.
Oh, it's still
Let me
on.
find out.
Let me find out. Let me find out.